Welcome back to Breaking Borderlands. If you've been keeping up with our series so far, you've seen how I've rushed a broken flak. Um, I just want to show off the build now that I've gotten it as broken as I can get it. We're going to start in what I consider the most important tree, even though it's not the most spec'd. It's the most important because this whole thing runs off of Gamma Burst. So we got Gamma Burst down as far as we could to get Atomic Aroma and Empathic Rage because this 20% Gamma damage boost goes to Gamma um, everything that we're doing, which is also the anointment we're running. So the radiation damage from this aura is ridiculous good. So we've taken 3 in Persistence Hunter. Um, we only took the 1 in Ferocity and the 1 in Go for the Eyes, just because critical hits are pretty important to the build. But then we also got the 5 in Frenzy. Um, we're also only going a little bit down the purple tree, the only reason again being critical hits, so we got movement speed and some damage for our pet. And then they have a chance to score a critical hit, which I'll explain why that's important in a moment. But in the green tree, we've done 5 out of 5 in Furious Attack and 5 out of 5 out of Self-Repairing System. We let Eager to Impress. It's not that important to the build, really, but still it's nice to have it in the background. We gave all my BFFs healing, lick the wounds so that our pet can get up, which is another reason we wanted the movement speed in case we go down. Turn, tail, and run works very, very well because most of the time we're going to be standing still because the Gamma Burst is going to be taunting everybody, so they're going to pay attention to the Jabber, which you want the Gunslinger for his attack speed, and that rocket launcher is just chef's kiss good, just mwah. Took 5 out of 5 out of Hidden Machine because, again, everything's going to be focusing on your Jabber most of the time, so you're going to be getting that damage. We took 3 out of 3 in the Fast and the Furious, however you say that, just to give ourselves and the pet more damage. And then we took the Power Inside because most of the time your health is going to be full, and the extra 50% and if not 25% damage boost is just super nice. And then really the keystone of the whole build is here in the red tree. So we took 5 out of 5 in Interplanetary Stalker just to get all these bonuses. We took 3 out of 3 in Leave No Trace and Head Count because we're going to be getting all of the critical hits to cool down the Gamma Burst and then add ammo back into the magazine. Because this is a launcher's build. I don't know if I've mentioned that. If you've been keeping up with it, you've seen how we've been using it, but that's one of the reasons we want Two Fang. We got it up to a 20% to get an extra shot. We took 3 out of 3 in Big Game to give all our hunter skills more potency and duration. 2 out of 3 in Most Dangerous Game just to get the benefits from that. Sorry, my controller's a bit janky. We took 4 out of 5 in Grim Harvest, just because you really do want the 1 in Galactic Shadow, just because you're going to be critting all the time thanks to Megavore. Excuse me. So, Grim Harvest is, just good to have that gun damage, action skill damage, pet damage. Now, you can also run a Spider Ant Scorcher for the fact that this is a radiation elemental build, so you could get that extra damage that way, but you really do want the fast attack rate because the critical hits are going to help to refill the magazines of the Plague Bearers we've got. Now, mind you, the best shield to run is an Infernal Wish, and I gave it shield break amp damage just in case you go down, the next launcher attack you make is amped. So that always seems to get you back up. But if you don't have anything but the base game, you can always go for a messy breakup. I don't have the anointments that I really want. Again, I have the shield break just because if you go down, it helps to get you up, but the messy breakup also spawns a second drone, if that's the case. So it's already helping to get you back up. But what you would really want is what we have here on the Revolter. On action skill start, any effects that trigger on shield break or fill. Just because then you can get that second drone pretty much all the time. But the Infernal Wish is the best thing to run just because you're guaranteed to have 2 projectiles from your launchers and your leech, which just bear with me because normally I don't like running purple gear, but just this thing is vicious. And also an Atom Bomb Victory Rush because that Victory Rush will stack with the most dangerous game, giving you damage, movement speed, more gun damage, critical hit damage. So it's very easy also to handle all the elites on the field. So I'm going to break down the strategy of how to use this when you engage in a battle. So you're going to come in. If you want to, wait for the monkey to start stuff, but grenade, taser, gamma burst, taser again, and then cycle through your elements of plague bearers or scourges even work for this. They actually have a better fire rate, but you're just letting those smaller projectiles sweep the field. It is so fun to watch. Another thing I should mention though, when your gamma burst is starting to run out, pick a launcher that you like or has the most potent kill at the time. Like if you're fighting Iridiums, the Guardians, you're gonna want your electricity launcher just because that's their main health bar. You know, here the last health bar is fire, so I'm sticking with fire. But once the gamma burst is up, as long as you don't switch weapons, you still have that radiation damage in the background. But you're going to want the gamma burst up just because with our Red Fang, which is really like the cornerstone of all this, what it's built from, while your gamma burst is active, the pet taunts everybody. So they don't focus on you. It's your survivability, and it helps to add damage because you're boosting with, you're boosting damage with your empathic rage. You're also boosting your damage with hidden machine because nothing's focusing on you. You're also boosting your damage on turn, tail, and run because you're standing still, giving you some fire rate and whatnot. Now, I've gotten lucky on both of these mods. You can see the splash damage, action skill damage, and heavy weapon damage. It gives me a little bit of the reflect as well, so your pet taking damage will also cause damage. But the other side of it that I like to run for mobbing, because that one where it's straight damage is best for your bossing. This gives me some weapon magazine size, some damage reduction, and weapon charge speed is super useful for the plague bearers, just to give you a little more fire rate with them. But yeah, now you might be asking yourself, well, again, what's with the leech? And this is just to demonstrate that even without the gamma burst active, there's some radiation damage in the background. But you're asking yourself why the leech? Well, if you notice, the projectiles of the launchers sometimes will add ammo back into the clip, as well as the and then you move, as well as the attacks of your pet. His aura has the chance to crit because of Megavore. So you could just sit around and wait for him to fill your clip, but it's not very efficient. It's also one of the reasons we run the Hunter Seekers, because that bullet damage can crit now and add ammo back into the magazine. But sometimes the battle needs to have ammo, So that's why we have the leech, because it's high attack rate, and now it has chance to crit. You go and distract everybody, throw a leech out, and now you've already got 3 back in the clip. It even stays active for a bit, and then you can always switch back to it. It's even possible, if you do it right, to melee cancel and keep the taser going. But I only suggest using the infinite taser, as I like to call it, whenever you're in close confines. Like you're in a hallway or something where big boom, bad idea. So I'll demonstrate it at least. Oh, he's dying. Rise from the grave. Alright. So it also turns into a unique melee class because the leech, being health steal, allows you to just stay in the game even if your shield's broken. So you don't have to worry about going down. Your health just won't move. And again, infinite taser. Now, if you get enough of them built up, you can even stack them like that. So, and not to mention it's a pretty light show. If you wanted to have a whole stack of these and then, you know, some other Vladoff weapon that has them, like the Unending Magnificent, then you can swap between them and have like Mr. Light Show effects going off. But it's just more apropos to aerate everything. I mean, what can I say? I'm an American. Shock and awe is in my blood. Hoorah! But what do you got? Okay. Now, on the other hand of this, if you're not into launchers, just like me, I built it for a friend who sadly went blind, so he can't see what he's shooting at. I'll let the gun do all the work. If you have the director's cut or designer's cut, have a revolter going on. The leech really only just because of the leech, but then, you know, I've got a couple of light shows. Let's test out the ogre we just picked up. But all you really need is a light show, honestly. But get it with, on action skill start, you get your... Meh. That's hard to hit. I mean... kinda worked. But... whenever you start your engagement, go ahead and throw a Hunter Seeker first, just because we have the anointment that gives you 6 seconds of boosted weapon, grenade, and action skill damage. Right, grenade, gamma burst, pick a target. And the beautiful thing about this is everything's going to be dying with a radiation explosion. So you could even run a red suit if you wanted to and just go nuts with radiation. But it's so good for mobbing. Not to mention background damage. Like this guy is resistant to the cryo I'm using, but he can still get chewed up by the radiation. And then anything else that's not resistant to both of them is just going to cause you an explosion. And now that we're running the Atom Bomb Victory Rush, not only are we getting damage boosts from taking out elite enemies, but that aura burst damage, radius, it's just good stuff. Not to mention you could notice the increase in fire rate as your shield breaks or you activate your action skill. Just helps to deliver all the damage faster. Rise. So, if this is more your approach, you still get your mobbing potential. It still works for bossing. Even works a little better for bossing in certain situations. But I like to use the grenades to supplement for if my skill is on cooldown. You know, give it a little extra damage because I'm not getting that damage buff from having the revolter go off and all that. But again, the true spirit and where this really shines, in my opinion, is when it comes to the launchers. Now, if you wanted to, this is not a necessity. It is not really increasing how much radiation damage you do, especially against bosses and whatnot. It's really better for mobbing, but then you can also get the victory rush. But how many bosses are going to spawn an elite enemy for you to take out while you're, you know, going at it? So the Pearl is a great the problem with the Pearl is you're really never ever going to get up to the maximum stacks before something dies, but every consecutive hit is still going to end up giving you 1% increased damage. Not to mention you're guaranteed to be having 2 projectiles going towards the target, if not 3, because Two Fang can go off with the Infernal Wish. Yeah. But I actually am running this in True Vault Hunter mode. Right now I'm on normal, but in True Vault Hunter mode I'm doing a Schluter run, where I am going around doing every side quest that I missed, every little tidbit I am picking up, but running the Schluter the entire time. And it still works, and it is pretty much easy mode for flak. So, I mean, you just aim in their general direction. The leech not only keeps you healthy, but it gives you back ammo for your magazines. And the beautiful thing is, while the leech is going off, if you're swapping through a whole list, like you can see, I went a little crazy actually, and I got one of the original flavors, one of each of the original flavors of element, just because if you have a shield, it's gone. If you have armor, it's gone, and then you're gone. Like, yeah. So, and on top of all that, you're doing radiation damage, which is still going to help with, you know, your mobbing, because those explosions are going to be going off and causing damage. But if you happen to throw the leech out and you're going through swapping, like say you just need to get back to your fire, then while you're swapping through these, the leech is still putting ammo back into the magazines of the first 2 you're swapping through, because it's going to take you a second. You don't have that good a weapon swap speed. But I switched to the Schluter here just because, again, I'm not going to be using that aura damage on Captain Trant here.
Don't pee on it this time.
Now, if you can remember just to stand still, it increases your damage so much more, and I'm kind of aiming to try and get one of his lackeys first, just so the Schluter will go off, but there's no guarantee on that one. Oh, there we go. And again, it's easy mode, just aim over his head. You can get more direct damage if you aim at him, but... And... Now, having... I'm probably not going to make it, nope. But having your jabber out also increases your movement speed. So that way when you're running around with your rocket launchers, you're not as slow. But if you want to go just that bit faster, then you can pull out the leech as well. But yeah, I just wanted to showcase how the build went breaking this guy. Hope you found it informative and enjoyed, and I will catch you later. Peace.